Good evening and welcome to the John Gaunt Show. Tonight, I'm asking the question, are Starmer and the Labour government laughing at us? Laughing at you and I? Taking us for mugs? I'd like your opinion. Have you seen the new plan? They're doing half of what I suggested, which is moving people out of the hotels into army camps. The only bit that they're not doing is securing the army camps. So they're going to put 1,900, 2,000 people, only men, in camps at the bottom of your road. But they can come and go whenever they fancy. That's about as much use as a chocolate fireguard. That's my view, but what's yours? Plenty to talk about tonight. And if you're lucky and if you donate, you might find I'll do some showbiz tales for you as well. Good evening, anyway. I'm the last man standing in our house at the moment. Everybody else now is in bed with this flu, COVID, whatever it is. I'm beginning to feel better, but I still would say I'm pretty wrecked. All right, let's get on with it. The government want you to believe today that they finally listened and cracked the small boat stroke illegal migrant crisis. They're going to move the flip-flop warriors out of the hotels with their squeezy soap and put them in army camps. Hurrah! We all shout. But hold on a minute. They're not under lock and key. They're not even having the fences secure. They can come and go as they wish. You couldn't make this up, could you? It's simply a load of barracks. Oh, I like that one. But anyway, I want to know your view. I want to cut through the spin, call out the nonsense. This is just another stunt by, be careful how I said this, another stunt by Labour. Shutting hotel accommodation for migrants, but putting them into so-called secure army camps, but they're not going to be secure because that'd be against their human rights. So it's just another gimmick. It's just another distraction. It's another way of wasting your money. If they'd spent all that money that they've spent on hotels, and remember, it's £153 a night, £8 million a month they're spending on detention for these people in hotels. That money could have already built proper, secure places to put them in. But no, they were against it. Just like Labour were against the whole idea of the Rwanda plan. We've got no deterrent. That's why the flip-flop warriors keep coming. And that's why tonight in the picture, if you have a look behind me, I'll just move to one side. I've got that famous picture of Yvette Cooper. Do you remember when they were all virtue signaling, holding up signs saying, "We welcome refugees," as if they were so wonderful. They were fantastic people, and we were all barbarians for saying that's not a good idea. But hold on a minute. I'm going to agree with Yvette Cooper. I do welcome refugees, genuine refugees. We did it with Ukraine. We did it famously, of course, with the Ugandan Asians. We've done it with Hong Kong. We've done it with many, many, many countries. But this lot, by and large, I'd say 95, 99% of the flip-flop warriors are not refugees. They are not fleeing persecution, but they're using that to get into our country. And because Labour and their idiot friends in the Human Rights Brigade classify them as refugees, that's why we can't just boot them out straight away. If we can't classify them that they've got a legal claim until they're here, surely it should be the same that we can't call them a refugee. They must be called just an illegal migrant, because the only thing certain about these people, the flip-flop warriors, is that they're here illegally. They have got in a dinghy at Dover. Other countries are sending them straight back, but we can't because we're playing by the rules. They might be refugees, Gaunty. Well, it's time to wake up, smell the coffee, and say utter bullshit, right? So we're going to have these camps But there's no point in having them, and it won't happen anyway, because local communities will complain. Because in general, if I lived next door to an old army camp and they told me they were going to put illegal migrants there, as long as they were locked up and they can't just walk into town, I'd probably be okay about it. I wouldn't, because I don't think they should be in the country in the first place, but I wouldn't be protesting outside it. But the fact they can come and go, no, because it all goes back to this other thing. In the dinghy, we don't know who they are. And I'm going to scare the pants off you now. We've had another terrible murder in London today by somebody from Afghanistan. And I noticed the police and authorities were very quick to tell everybody, although this happened last night and they've kept it quiet till this afternoon. And they've said, it's near Heathrow Airport, they've said, he's not a small boat migrant. Why was that so important that they stressed that now? But they did say he is an Afghanistani. Well, a lot of the Afghans have come in on planes, haven't they? The former translators and the rest of it. They also, very importantly, in the information they've given out, they haven't said whether he's legal or illegal. Probably because they don't know. Because, again, going back to the ones who come in the dinghies, no one's got a clue. And I've said this for bloody ages. No one has got a clue who they are. So if they were going to put one of these camps at the bottom of my road, but allow them to come and go. I always remember this in Warwick. I went over to Warwick where I used to live, and there were all these young fellas walking down the street from the A45 or the A46, whatever it is. There's a huge hotel there. And I thought, well, where are they all going? Because Warwick is like this sleepy market town. They're all in the flip-flops or the designer trainers. And then I realised they'd taken over the hotel on the island. They'd closed it down. All the signs were down. And it was now full of migrants. It's a beautiful hotel, right? But they're allowed to walk into town. Well, that is quite clearly a security worry, isn't it? I keep saying this, and people need to get angry about it. If Keir Starmer could guarantee to me he knew the names, not even the dates of birth, well, they don't even know the dates of birth because we're not even allowed to DNA test them. He hasn't got a clue. And so they play your Russian roulette. So these young men, many of whom I'm sure are perfectly all right, walk into our town centres. They're bored. They're idle hands. You know what goes on. And then we've had sex attacks. And today we've had a guy killed by an Afghani in Nuneaton, just up the road. That was 2 Afghans, a 14-year-old. They're on trial for raping her and strangling her. Do you see what I'm saying? So this morning when I heard, they're going to put them in army camps, I thought, God, at last, Starmer's got it. But he hasn't got it because he isn't locking them up. He's conning you. They're laughing at you. Just like Lammy, the other person in my picture. Did you see? We didn't really get a chance to get into this last night. During his, when he went to say about the other guy who they'd let out accidentally, which I'm sorry, I don't believe them. I don't believe that Chelmsford Nick would have let him out by accident. That's all they do. They're a remand prison. So each day there'd be forms. Who's going in, who's going out. And it would be like the Blues Brothers. I've seen it. There's no way he'd have got out. Has somebody been paid a backhander to let him out? Some suggestions from left-wing papers that it would be people maybe from Reform trying to embarrass the government. I don't know where to get the evidence for that from, but it could be. Who knows? Again, no one knows. So he goes on the run for 3 days. So Lammy yesterday goes to the Commons to explain himself. But within 2 minutes, he's arguing with the Conservatives and it's back to pantomime politics. Then he's laughing. How can he be laughing when we're talking about a man who you let into the country, who has found guilty, no accusations, found guilty of sexual assault of a 14-year-old girl on your watch, Lammy, you big fat buffoon, and you end up laughing and joking and doing knockabout politics? It's absolutely outrageous. Yvette Cooper, former Home Secretary, we welcome refugees. They're all refugees. No, they're not. And it's not just me saying this. Statistically, the majority of them are not fleeing persecution. The vast majority. They're economic migrants. Now, I've said this before, I admire and respect them in a way. They want to improve their lives. But we cannot take everybody in. And we certainly can't have it as like a pick and mix. And where is Starmer? Yesterday he was over in Turkey. Sakir was in Turkey selling jets. Good on him. Why is he not back now? Why isn't he dealing with this crisis? And then he's got a quote today all over social media saying he's really angry about it. Oh, and Shamara Mahmood, or whatever her name is, I'm really angry. Yesterday, Lammy was fuming, wasn't he? Yeah, he was fuming as well. Stop fucking fuming and secure our borders. And I'm telling you something now, it's quite clear the British public do not want army camps. They don't want hotels. They don't want homes of multiple occupation. They don't want people coming here who shouldn't be here. What they want is tough policies. They want people booted out of the country. Detain and deport. Why can't Starmer see it? And you know what I find odd about this? He will reverse on this soon as well. But in the meantime, how many more people need to get killed on the streets of London? How many more girls need to get raped? How many more working class women working in the canteen of these hotels needs to get stabbed in the head 19 times with a screwdriver on a train platform? How much more murder and mayhem? How much more hatred do you want to stir up in the country? Because if there is hatred and division, Starmer, Lammy, Cooper, Mahmood, you're the ones causing it. Just like you caused it after Southport by leaving an information vacuum, you're doing the same again. You're taking us for mugs. We employ you. You should do what we want. And what we want is the ECHR ripped up. We want anyone who lands here detained. We want them deported as soon as possible, if not immediately. And we certainly don't want you letting out criminals who have committed sexual assault against 14-year-old girls and not having a clue where they are. Can you? I almost can't rage tonight. I'm almost at that point where it's like, let's just give up. And then I was thinking, prompted by somebody last night when they spoke on my show, Starmer's an intelligent bloke, isn't he? I hate him, but he's an intelligent bloke. This is all deliberate, isn't it? It's got to be. The more I think about it, it's got to be deliberate. They are gaslighting us. They are winding us up. They are making us fight each other. They're making us trust no one. And then we'll trust them. And then today, there's these two amazing polls out. One by YouGov, which basically says Keir Starmer, if he's still this unpopular by the time of the election, he will lose his seat. Not just him, Lammy, Cooper, most of them would go. Well, that kind of cheers you up a bit, doesn't it? But it could be 3 or 4 years ago. By then, they could have wrecked our whole country. We are in a state of emergency. Our government will not declare it. I think we, the public, need to do it. Is it now time for the public to say, we're all taken to the streets? Enough is enough. Because now the focus is going to turn to this community in Inverness and the other one in England, in the countryside there. They're going to say, no, we don't want it. But what we should be doing is all going out on the streets with them, shouldn't we? No. What's so difficult to understand about detain and deport, Keir Starmer? Germany's doing it. Australia's doing it. America's done it. What is so bloody difficult? Greece has done it. It's completely stopped it. Why can't we? Why are you playing Russian roulette with our wives and our children and indeed with ourselves? And why are we paying for this? So why are we now going to spend millions replacing fences at these old institutions? And then Starmer's bragging, oh yeah, I said I told you all this. It's what annoys me. Months ago, I said, Starmer's saying that he's going to get this done by the time of the next election. You watch, he'll try and do it quicker and then make out he's Billy Big Bollocks. He's doing it. It's as if I scripted it. So, you know, when people say you couldn't make it up, you bloody could. It's almost a Janet and John style novel. This happened, full stop. Then this happened, full stop. He's planning it. He's deliberately, in my opinion now, trying to wreck our country by sowing division, by turning us against each other. And then he has the temerity to pick on people like Farage and say that Farage is the fascist. It's nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. Like I said the other day, that Sarah Potchin or whatever her name is, she was stupid to say what she said. But should that dominate the headlines rather than another 1,000 illegal, undocumented, unknown men of fighting age landing at Dover? I think not. I think not. I think that's slightly more important. And I am fed up now as a white, fat, middle-aged bloke, although I've lost a bit of weight, have you noticed, with this sickness? I am fed up of being treated like the enemy. I'm not the enemy in my own country. I'm also not a racist. And nor are you. We're one of the most welcoming, charitable nations in the world. Look at our record. Look what's happening in Jamaica at the moment with that terrible hurricane. I love Jamaica. Wonderful country, wonderful people. We wish them well. Keep safe if you can. But let me tell you, we'll be the first there with help and aid afterwards, won't we? Because that's what we do. We did it in Pakistan. We do it in India. We do it all over the world. So from now on, up yours if you want to think I'm a racist just because I want to stop illegal migration. There's nothing racist about saying illegal migration has to be stopped. There's nothing racist about saying I don't even care where we send them back to. I just want them out of our country because they shouldn't be here. That isn't racist. And I'm also not judging them by the colour of the skin or where they're from. Not at all. It's a simple matter of numbers. There's too many. And secondly, they've not gone through the right procedure. Why should they be able to jump the queue? That's it. That's as much as I'm going to say. I'm now passing it over to you. I want your opinion. Showbiz Tales coming up later, if you're lucky. Right, shall we get started? Who's kicking us off tonight? Cumbrian Mackham, 9296. It's up there with the one in, one out nonsense. You're right. This army deal today. And people are getting suckered into it. People are going, oh, it's great. One of my regular callers, I wonder if he'll callers, one of my regular contributors, I wonder whether he'll, Craig Urquhart. I'm not having a go at you, Craig, but you put up a tweet earlier saying, well, at least it's a start. Now, I'm not going to slag you because that was the kind of reaction I had first thing this morning as I bleary-eyed woke up. But it's not a start. It's a con trick. It's another one of Starmer's lies. Because he knows he probably won't even get him in the camps because the NIMBYs won't want it. And I don't blame them. We're going to put 1,000 people at the end of your street. One of these centres, in the Inverness one, is in the centre of town. We're putting 1,000 undocumented, don't know who they are, blokes, in flip-flops or designer trainers of fighting age. Is that okay with you? Oh, no, we're not even going to ask you. What are you complaining about? You didn't ask us. Well, we don't have to ask you. See what I'm saying? It's a con. But he's not thick. He's doing it for a reason. By the way, if you want to donate, feel free. There are 27 likes so far. That's brilliant. If you want to donate, Don't forget, it's www.buymeacoffee.com/John Gaunt. Last night, tonight, of course, of the week. So please, if you're thinking of doing it this week, could you do it today? www.buymeacoffee.com/John Gaunt, or just click the little $sign on the YouTube video and send me whatever you can. Please, we need the money to keep going. Graham Fletcher, but wasn't the putting people in hotels started by the Tories? Are they the ones equally guilty? Graham Fletcher, coach, 22. You're a good bloke. You've been with me a long time, but you don't have to come out with some lefty shit sometime. Where have I said this is just Labour's fault? I've never said that. This goes back to 14 years of misrule. It goes even further back than that. Stop seeing everything, Graham. Wake up. It's no longer left and right, Labour and Tory. It's no longer a Harry Enfield sketch, big boy. Life has moved on. It's them and us. And I don't know about you, Graham. I'm one of the us, one of the left behind. And I think you probably are as well. But you're being conned. Of course, it wasn't really started by the Tories. But anyway, yes, they used hotels. And yes, Boris waved in over 1 million. He's a prick. Yes. Now, does that satisfy a bit of Tory bashing? Can we get back to the fact that we, the British public, are being made to pay for this? Can't you see? You're being conned by the political establishment and their chums in the mass media, in the mainstream media, who have fallen for this, who think this is wonderful. This is all wonderful. Starmer's getting on top of it. I heard a report today, I think it was the BBC. Starmer's obviously listening. Is he buggery? He's on the ropes. He's panicking that he's going to lose his job, which he is going to, probably before the election, probably just after Christmas. They'll stitch him up and get rid of him. What have I always told you? Once you get somebody on the ropes, what do? You keep punching. But thank you, Graham. Enid, Patricia, Mather, splitting their sides, laughing at us, John. For goodness sake, get rid of this man. She's talking about Lammy. He has no personality, no sense, and he's not fit for purpose. I can't argue with that. You'd have thought somebody... No one's going to lose their job, have you noticed? We've let a rapist, a sex offender out. The only person to lose their job is the poor screw at the bottom of the pile. Well, there's a surprise. Yeah? There's a surprise. Cumbria Mackham again. We also took in genuine refugees from the former Yugoslavia. Well said, Cumbria, and that's right. And that's the point I'm trying to make. We're not racist. We're not intolerant. We're not even a liberal. We're a very liberal nation. Anything goes. No one's really hung up about people being gay anymore. No one cares even about people who want to wear a dress on the telly and be entertaining. Yes? Well, I've got a bit of a grudge against that bloke. He was all right when he started on Strictly, but now I just think he's a prick. And I can't wait for him to get voted out. What's he called? Leroy or something? Him? But no one's got a problem. No one's got a problem with any of that. We're just being told we've got it by people like Yvette Cooper, like David Lammy. You see, David Lammy made the big thing about, I went to thank the police because he was found in my constituency. Well, kind of, but you don't quite live there, do you, David? You've got the big posh house on the next suburb. It's all just bullshit. Rosseth 22, the Army of Darkness. Mick Frinton-on-Sea, the Afghan, came in a lorry 2 years ago with a right to remain. How do you know he's got the right to remain? Has that been granted? And also, do you know how people get right to remain? They're just here for so long. They're given out like Smarties. No one values our passport or the chance to live here. So, to me, Mick, give me some more information, but that means nothing to me. No, he was livid. That's what he said. Lammy. This is... Fingame was a name. No, he was livid. Fatty said. Thank you. Richard Pope, Labour's own manufactured red tape stating they are refugees. It's BS, says Richard Pope. Precisely. They've created this situation where anybody who gets to Dover, they know the game. Chuck the passport as you're coming into land. Get on the beach. or get off the lifeboat, or however you've been picked up. State categorically that you're now claiming political asylum, you're fleeing persecution. Pick a country, any country you want. Doesn't have to be the one you're from. You don't even have to speak the language. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. You're going to be put on a luxury coach, nice warm blanket, 3 meals, down to, is it Manston they take them to? You'll get processed, bang, into a hotel, 4-star, all the way, squeezy soap. Oh, yeah, Gaunty, don't paint it out like that. They have to share a room. Diddums. They have to share a room. My heart bleeds for them. And then they can come and go as they wish. And then when we object, this is the bit that's now getting on me. It's getting to me all day. We dare to complain. We're the xenophobes. We're the racists. We're the scum. We're the white trash. We're the fascists. And then to sort of get a little bit of solidarity around us, we put up a few flags. That's offensive as well. We're not allowed to do that. It's just ridiculous. Where are we going next? Here we are. Nigel Gordon, we want our streets safe. We do. They weren't safe before all this lot turned up, and they're certainly not now. 2 more schoolgirls have gone missing on the way home, aged 9 and 10. Pam, you can't just write something there. You've got to say where and why and give us a bit more if you can, okay? Fling Gaiman's won some, thinks he's original by using that symbol of a W and an anchor. It's not really, and it doesn't really work, does it, on something where we're speaking? Anyway, sorry, I'm being irritable. And no wonder no one's donating. Denise Deacon, maybe if something happened to one of their own, they might do something about it. All the time it's happening to someone else's family member, they don't care. Denise, these people don't think like you and I. If that happened to one of my daughters, I'd want to kill the person who did it. I'd want to slice them up into little bits. I'd want to put them in a room with a load of other dads whose daughters had been abused like that. But that's because I'm a working class animal. But not these middle class twerps. Not you, Yvette Coopers. We welcome refugees. Or Trevor Lammy. Can't quite believe it, but look, I'm part of the ruling class. Right? They don't think like us. They don't have human emotions. That's why they don't really get football. They can get rugby union. Yeah, well played. I'm being a snob now because I like rugby as well. But the difference between a rugby crowd and a football crowd has to come down to a thing called passion and tribalism. These lot don't understand that. Not in a month of Sundays. And I've told you this before. They actually hate the working class. They absolutely hate them. But when there's a war, oh, we'll send the boys there from Newcastle, London. We'll send them. They'll go and fight for us. They're going to have a very, very rude awakening soon. Because they're just using us and abusing us. With me or against me. Have we ever had such an anti-British sellout? A prime minister who brings people in that kill its own. What is he and why is he doing it? Well, that's really what we're discussing tonight, Annette. That's really what it's all about. And I haven't got an answer for you. I find it as depressing as hell. I haven't had a drink for a week. I think I'm going to have a glass of wine tonight. Because I've got no solutions. But I'm just saying, if you add these things up, it just doesn't make sense. Now we're going to move them to an army camp. So that'll please, it does please people. But they're not going to be locked up. What's the point of moving them then? Leave them in the hotel. Or do what I said. Put them in tents. I saw my local Labour MP selling poppies the other day. It took all my strength to not go and ask her how she has the cheek to pretend to care about our veterans. Well said, Denise. Well said. Pam Millett, we can detain and deport. It's not against the ECHR. He's just not doing it. The men from that faith were born here, and they're becoming very angry with us. Which men? Are you talking about? Yeah, see, I really don't like... You're new. I've never seen your name before. Thing Game was on names, whatever. Ridiculous avatar anyway, but he's on YouTube. Do you want to play by the rules, mate? The men from that faith. Do you mean Muslims? Just say it. No one's going to tell you off. They're becoming very angry with us. I should imagine they are. I should think there's a lot of Muslim people who are very unhappy with the way they're being depicted. That's kind of my point. My point is I'm not buying into divide and rule. Looks like you are. And I'm not scared of Muslims. Most Muslims are normal, decent people. It's not a problem. Not a problem. I'll tell you one thing that's really revolted me as well. Have you seen the rapes in the West Midlands? These two, I think they're Sikhs or Hindu girls. I hope we're putting a lot of effort into finding who's doing that. I don't care whether they're white, black, blue, Christian, Gentile, Jewish, whatever. String them up by the cobblers off the nearest lamppost, say I. Filthy rapists. Just what is the point of the so-called border command? What a joke, says India Joke. Joe, thank you. Jackie Ward, I've got no problem with army camps if the illegals are kept locked in. Yes, but Jackie, they're not going to be. That's what I'm telling you. If I was a genuine asylum seeker, I don't think I'd mind being locked in a camp because I'd know I was safe and being looked after. The problem is most are probably not fleeing from persecution. Exactly. Not in France where they come from, certainly. So why on earth do the government want them loose on the streets, not knowing who they are? Jackie, exactly. That, you see, again, doesn't add up. Does it? So somebody turns up at Heathrow tomorrow and they've got to go through passport control and they haven't got one. We don't let them in, do we? We then detain them. And I've seen those programs, border control, and they send them back, don't they? Why don't they just let them out on the street? Why do you have passport control at Luton Airport anymore? There's no need for it. Just let every fucker in. There's no problem. Because that's what we're doing with these boats. They haven't got a clue who is in the dinghy. Not a Scooby-Doo of who's in the dinghy. And now this new thing, this dispersal thing, the whole idea is to disperse them. I mean, it's no coincidence, is it, that the first two places they're talking about, one's in Kent and the other one is in Inverness. You couldn't really get much further north, could you? What they're showing is they're going to spread these people out all over the United Kingdom. Look what's happening in Ireland, not just in Northern Ireland, but in the Republic. There's thousands of them in that hotel in Dublin. If it were to kick off, you're almost, and I'm not saying they are the enemy, but you're almost doing the enemy's job, aren't you? Oh, we'll make sure you got some people up here to fight on that front, some over here, some over. Why are our government doing this? What is the agenda? What is the agenda? And where is our supreme leader? If he's so confident in his tactics, why isn't he talking to us? He's got a Labour Party meeting tonight of his MPs. He's not going. He's sending somebody. As Mrs. Thatcher would say, he's frit of his own party. He's probably frit of his own shadow. But now I feel it's getting really dangerous. Do you? Our local Labour councillor did a runner when we confronted him over the issues, says Annette Locke on Facebook. He thought he could come and we just wanted the bloody bins and matters of plebs to talk about. His ears are going to ring for some time. Well done, Annette. Exactly what you should do. You're paying his wages. Den Spink says it is like some sort of sinister plan is going on. Richard Pope's backing it up. He says, definitely, it's a conspiracy happening. Graham Fletcher's trying to get upset. He says, I only asked. He's the lefty who said, didn't it start with the Tories? Yeah, but Graham, you've listened for ages. You know I'm pretty fair about this. You know I think the Tory government were abysmal. You know that. So don't play lefty politics with me because I find it fucking tedious. Love you. I think tolerance is coming to an end. Well, so do I. Bag of fruit. What does that mean? Right, I'm banning you tonight because you're boring, mate. Not you, Den, the one I'm just talking to. Too right, my friend, says Den. Maggie Young says, as we talk, thousands are still coming in every day. We're done for. I think you're right. This is the problem, Maggie. This is why I'm saying we need a state of emergency. We need to lock Britain down. We need to say, bang, no more immigration, illegal or legal. We're going to get on top of what we've got in the country. And I'm afraid that does mean that's detaining people, and we will be deporting people. But it shouldn't be. And that's where Nigel Farage was wrong to go on about maybe deporting people who've been here for 20 or 30 years. The focus all shifted onto that, and always you're fascist. Just deporting people who shouldn't be in the country, illegal people. We'll start with the 32,000. Listen to the number. There's 32,000 of them in 4-star hotels at this moment with squeezy soap. Let's deport them. And yes, it is the Tories' fault because they didn't process these ages ago. And I see today some Labour politician was saying, oh, we're going to get more people to process them quicker. It should have happened years ago, months ago, whoever was in power. What is the problem? What is the problem? Lord Jim Dandy, you've summed this up completely right, mate. Stop the effing boats. Do you know what? It is as simple as that. If you don't turn the tap off, they will keep coming. They will keep coming. Has anyone got anything to say about this? Reeves just wants our money to pay for all her budgeting cock-ups. Well, that's the next thing as well. That's the next thing to say, Pam. Her budget is going to be, the income tax is going to go up. We're all going to end up paying more money. But there's too many people in the country. And most of them aren't paying. And then I love the way the uber liberals go, well, yeah, but they don't get any benefits, Gaunty. They don't. Let me just run that one past me again. They don't get any benefits. They're staying in a 4-star hotel. They get 3 meals a day. Oh, yeah, but the food's not very good. Pardon? The food's not very good? Hang on, we'll get Egon fucking Roney to go and cook for them, shall we? Or Marco Pierre White. Is Gordon Ramsay free? It's Gordon Ramsay night. No, just mad. And anyway, they get the meals. They get the accommodation free. They get free NHS. They get, I'll talk about that in a moment. They get the wigs if they need them. They get everything they want. And about £9 a week, pocket money. Is my heart meant to bleed for them? Because unfortunately, it's not. If they don't like it, bye. Stelios, chocks away. You can always go back. It's not cruel. It's not inhumane. I've stayed in some of those hotels. I must admit that one of them, the Park Inn or whatever it's called, I've stayed at home when I've done lots of stuff for the BBC. There's one in Belfast. I have sometimes stayed in there. I wondered whether this was the H block or something. They're pretty basic. That's why this squeezy soap thing comes from. Lisa always says to me, what's the hotel like? If I say squeezy soap, she knows it's a pretty down market shithole, right? Because they don't trust you with a bar of soap even. Anyway, I'm digressing now. Oh, got to say thank you to... oh, no. We finish on the budget first. Jim's just donated a tenner. Thank you, Jim. He's pressed the $sign. You could do it as well if you fancy. Thank you very much, Jim. I'll come to you with you in a minute. The budget's coming up. It's all going to hit the fan again, isn't it? She's going to put up taxes, and then somebody's going to say, well, why are we paying for all these illegals? It doesn't add up, does it? Why is he doing it? Why is he doing it? Thank you, Pam, for your comments. Very good ones tonight. Let's just go to Jim. He says, totally agree, John. Sadly, Care for Calais doesn't. Yeah, that's one of the charities over there. Apparently, your idea of putting them in army camps will re-traumatize individuals who have already fled war, persecution, and torture. from France. Yes, Jim, you sum it up perfectly. And Jim, let's not even make light of it. What if some of these people are, say, from the Sudan and they have been involved in conflict and the rest of it? Well, it might do that. You're right. If we put them in an army camp, but they're still safe, aren't they? Certainly safer than where they've come from. See, it just, to me, it just doesn't add up. We've got to treat people humanely. I'm not saying treat people like, less than human. Of course I'm not. That would be horrid. I'm not into that at all. But what I'm also saying is it's got to be horses for courses. These new army camps they're going to, one of the things that's in the detail, they're going to have NHS doctors. So say you live in Inverness. I don't know what the situation is there at the moment. And you're struggling to get a doctor's appointment, or you can't get an NHS dentist. Go and get a dinghy, because they're going to get it straight away. You see, these things can't be right. Likewise, that guy who killed the woman in Walsall, stabbed her 19 times in the head with a screwdriver. They haven't sentenced him yet because they don't know his age. And we can't do biometric tests on him because it's against their human rights. Other countries do, but we can't. Probably because that was something that came across Keir Starmer's desk. Because you do know Jimmy Savile, that never came. Jimmy Savile never came across Keir Starmer's desk. Sorry. He never, ever did it. But anyway, he probably made this rule that you can't do biometric tests. I tell you what, David Lammy's on my left shoulder laughing, and he's kind of beginning to put me off. But anyway, so we can't tell how old they are. So we don't know who they are. We don't know which country they're from. Oh, and this is the final bit I wanted to add in today. Breaking story this afternoon. I think it was in the Sun newspaper, so it'll be all over the papers tomorrow. Major European crime agencies are saying very, very dangerous criminals, rapists, muggers, bank robbers, proper criminals who have committed crimes there are now coming across to Britain. Guess what? In dinghies. So not are we only importing tribal warlords, perhaps, or people coming in with conflicts from years ago. We're now importing real crime. Well, we knew this in a way, didn't we, with the Albanian situation. But if you believe this report today, and have a look online in the Sun, this is scary shit. And that's because when they get off the boat and they go to Manston or whatever it's called, we check them to see if they want some free dental care, make sure they can see properly to pick up their benefits when they get them. But we don't actually ascertain what country they're from, who they are they exactly who they say they are, and whether they've got a criminal record. We had one the other week, didn't we? Sweden got in touch and said, oh, no, hold on. That's not his name. He's so-and-so, and he's done this. He had a list as long as my arm, which aren't very long, of crimes he'd committed in Sweden. How much longer are we going to allow Starmer to get away with this madness? L Trainer says, this idea, what a load of barracks. Yes, L Trainer. That was my joke at the beginning. Conservative Labour, is there any real difference? Denise Deacon? No, there isn't. Turn them back using the Navy. Yeah, it's a great soundbite, Den, but it won't happen. Hi, John. The Democrats nearly destroyed the USA, but Mr. Trump is now repairing the damage. Farage will do the same. Keep the faith, my friend. Very different political system in America. I don't think you can put that much faith in any man in this country. But thanks for your point. I can't ever see the boat problem being solved. Our laws are being used against us, which paralyzes us from taking action, John. We are a weak host and we're ripe for being exploited. You are right. We need to take a stand and not pay a penny in council tax. Withhold anything you can. Well, see, the problem is, isn't it? You do that, they'll have you before the courts before you can say council tax. They're merciless. Absolutely merciless. Craig Mackenzie, sorry I'm late, mate. I'm so very fed up at Mo. I'm having to dig deep. I know what you mean, mate. They have the cheek to put the pension age up because we're living too long. And Dean, now you're just trying to wind me up, but you're absolutely right what you're saying. And then this one, Polo, mate, look at Serco and hoteliers making millions and billions out of these illegal immigrants. Yeah, they are. Right, I'm going to stop there because honestly, my cough's getting worse. Thank you for being with me tonight. I hope you've enjoyed it. It's a bit depressing, to be honest, isn't it? I'll do some showbiz anecdotes. People want me to talk about Mike Parry. I'll do that tomorrow. I'm not really in the mood. I didn't work myself up into the mood for that. If you'd like to help me out financially, please do. Click the little $ and donate whatever you can. It all helps to keep this going. Or alternatively, go to www.buymeacoffee.com/John Gaunt and send me anything you fancy. I think they start over $5 a go. Either way, help me out. But the big thing you can do is also make sure you go to John Gaunt YouTube channel. So that's John Gaunt on YouTube, John Gaunt TV, I think it's called. You'll find it. And a little sign comes up saying, do you want to subscribe? Say yes. It's free. You don't have to pay. That means every time I do a video or a podcast, you get notified. And also you get access to the whole archive. And there's hundreds and hundreds of different rants in there. Keep you occupied forever. Let me tell you. And that's about it. I'm going to go and watch the hurricane all night. I'm fascinated by it. I am. Did I ever tell you about when I was caught in a hurricane? During the Athens Olympics. The hurricane wasn't in Athens. We were in Florida. Stanabel Island, Barrier Island in Florida. And we got forced off the island by the military, literally the military. Turned up at the door. You've got to go. I said, I don't want to go. You got to go. I said, I don't want to go. I want to stay here. You won't be here in the morning if you stay. Anyway, they forced us to leave. I had this beautiful house I'd rented right on the beach. Gorgeous. And I was thinking it's going to be great surfing tomorrow because the wind was getting up. And anyway, I said to Lisa and the girls, don't worry, we'll go to Animal Kingdom. You know, Disney. So we went all the way up to Disney. It took forever because the rain started coming in. And then when we got to Disney, it was the weirdest thing in the world. I'll just tell you this quick bit. So we got to Animal Kingdom. Beautiful room, all glass windows at the front. And then suddenly, Lisa said, have you noticed something? I said, what? She said, the birds have stopped singing. I said, no, I'm deaf. I can't hear anything. She says, just listen. And just before a hurricane hits, this is my experience. You can tell me if it's wrong. It's just silence. And that's the scary bit, let me tell you. And we're inland, of course. We're in, what's it called? Wherever it is, wherever Disneyland is. So I thought we'd be safe, miles away from any sea. I said, I'll get you a drink, girls. You had one of those rooms where you got two beds, two queen beds, all in the same room. So they're in bed, the girls, and they're reading their books. I went downstairs, and that's when I knew it was serious. Because Mickey Mouse didn't have his head on. He'd taken his head off, and he was filling up sandbags. And he was sandbagging the hotel doors. I looked round, Donald Duck's there, right? He hadn't got his head on either. And he's helping to drain the swimming pool. I'm not making up any of this. It was like a nightmare, a dystopian movie. I'm surrounded by headless Disney characters, all panicking. Scary shit, let me tell you. So I go back upstairs with this tray of drinks, right? After seeing all this, I can't tell the kids, can I? I can't even tell Lisa because we're all in the same room. Give them all their drinks. And then the windows, the silence is suddenly shattered. The windows start moving like this. All of the window, right? You know those big patio glass doors they have in hotels? That sort of thing. We're on the first floor. Excuse me. And then lightning, like you've never seen. And I've been to Florida loads of times. Kissing me, that's where it was. So then lightning strikes. Then a generator blows up on the roof. The kids are going, "Oh, this is brilliant." They thought it was like the fireworks display at Epcot. But this was the hurricane coming in. They fell asleep. Don't ask me how. Rosie and Beth. I was up all night. And I was seriously worried about it. Next day, eerie silence again. Then you hear a few birds chirp. Oh, they've survived. Then you look out the window. There were caravans and RVs in trees. The force of the storm was unbelievable. And as we drove back down, so we're going to go meet my dad, you see. He was meant to come to Sanibel where we were. So we came back down the other side. Couldn't get any gas for a few days. So we were stuck in Disney. Oh, tragic. So then we're driving back down to pick him up from, he was in Miami. He'd flown into Miami. And literally, the destruction was like nothing else I've ever seen. A lamppost bent over, bent double. Don't know why I told you all that. Anyway, my thoughts tonight are with the people of Jamaica. And I love Jamaica. I mean, I've only been there once. I've been to lots of, twice, I think. I've been to lots of the other islands. But in terms of the natural beauty, you go a long way to beat Jamaica. Beautiful. Just hope it's going to survive. And I hope the people are, of course. And Charlie, out of Selector, he used to be the bass player. He's written some very funny, if you could have a look on Facebook and talking about him getting ready for it. He's there at the moment. So God bless you all is what I say. Jackie Ward, thank you for the 3 hearts. Maggie Young, thank you for yours and the claps. And let's all say, play up, Sky Blues. And I'll see you tomorrow at 6:30. If you do feel you can donate, do it now that we're finished. And I'll speak to you tomorrow at 6:30. Until then, if you've got kids, give them a kiss, give them a hug. Hey, 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 don't forget to tell them you love them. See ya.